up their third win in a row, taking down the Hornets. They go to 4-2 on the Grammy road trip. And fellas, considering where we all were in the Lakers a week ago, losing back-to-back games to the Rockets and Atlanta and a lot of chatter, the Lakers end up going 4-2 on this Grammy road trip. They've now won 3 in a row, and it's just a different feeling, James. And for the first time in 2024, they're 2 games over 500, so it's a nice start.
That's good. It does feel good to come back off the road trip 4-2. 2 big wins against Boston and New York, and close it out in Charlotte. Even though they fought like hell to try to get back in the game, you'd like to see you close out that last game to get home. So successful road. Maybe mentally turn themselves around to where they think they can play together, even though they have some injuries. Vanderbilt out, Cam out. That's they're missing those guys, but I think they're seeing something in themselves as a team if they play defense the way they play and move the ball. 36 assists tonight. That was big. 78 points in the paint. Though that's also big. So they're starting to get things together as far as without a lot of practice time. They're starting to gel a little bit.
For me, the big key was that first half. First half they were so active defensively, it kind of fell off in the second half due to Bridges and Miller. But I like the fact that they never wavered. They stayed strong. They stayed steady. They kept playing good defense. Even though those guys were knocking down Jays, they still were playing good defense. Sometimes Bridges hit. So overall, this was a successful road trip. The only thing is, you look back. We always do this every year. You're going to look back at one of those games on that back-to-back against 2 of the, not top-tier teams in the league. You got to get one of them. It'd be nice to go. But then again, you had to say, look at the work we put when we beat that Celtic.
Boston, beat that Celtic.
But this, to me, was a really good trip for a team that's been injury-riddled.
Let's go back to Charlotte. Anthony Davis is with Mike Trudell.
Well, a big triple-double for you, Anthony, although it was maybe that block of the Bridges 3 that was the biggest play of the game as they furiously tried to come back here. What did it take to just hold on, get off of this road trip 4-2?
Yeah, man, the last game of the road trip is always the toughest. We lost control of the game. They took control in the fourth quarter. The only way to get back in it is threes and fouls, and we were doing both. Got your alarm. Brandon Miller, Bridges played out of his mind, shooting the ball, extremely well tonight. Brandon Miller as well, and our defensive intensity kind of slipped in that fourth quarter. It actually started at the end of the third, the last couple minutes of the third, when they went on a 6-0 run and cut it to 14. We lost that quarter by 2, so 28-26. So we got to do a better job of closing out games, but nonetheless, we're happy that we got the win. It was ugly, but we're happy that we got it.
Your game has been, pretty complete for a number of years now, but the growth in the passing seems to have really gone up this season. You tie your career high with 11 assists. Defenses are trapping a lot more. You're just moving the ball to the right spaces. How has that evolved for you this season?
Teams are doubling me a lot more, and I had to do a better job of just passing out a double team, making the right reads. So just being comfortable with that, making the right reads. I'm comfortable in every facet of the game. And just read what the defense gives me. And I think our guys are doing a great job of making shots for me, obviously. But I think that's the biggest growth that I had, going into the season, just being able to play make.
Last one for you. It sounds like, 3 to 4 weeks before we find out more about Jared Vanderbilt. In the meantime, Rui Hachimura has entered the starting lineup. You guys have won 3 in a row. What can you take out of this trip to try and get yourself in a stronger position as you approach the playoffs?
Not telling how long Vando's going to be out. Next man up mentality. We preached that all year. We're still missing Cam, Gabe. So it's nothing new to it. We've been dealing with this all year, but I think we're starting to find a way to play without some of the guys. Guys are stepping up in their absence. So we're just doing a good job of playing complete team basketball, and it's a great road trip for us. Even though we dropped some that we thought we should have won. But we end the road trip 4-2. Now we got 2 big ones at home against Denver and New Orleans, and try to take this energy and this carryover from this road trip back home.
Are you a plane sleeper or no?
Not really.
Nah, me neither. That's fine.
I'll be up.
All right, man.
I'm not either, actually.
I am.
You are.
Oh,
Big
man.
Game is not a plane sleeper either. Check out the Lake Show trio. The big 3 combining for 80 points. LeBron with 26. D-Lo 28 on 10 of 21 and 5 of 12 from 3. But I want to start with AD.
Look at tonight's game, the assist that he made, bringing the defense to him, collapsing the defense, finding the guys on time, on target. He was really showing signs of being a complete assist guy now. I mean, he does draw a lot of attention. So now he's smart. He's starting to read the defense and see where the open guys are. It's just not by accident. He's really done a good job of surveying the court. So, yeah, his assist is vital to their offense.
For me, when I watch games like this, it's almost like the Lakers players say, okay, we can go out and score. We don't need AD. And for me, it had been an team that could guard AD. But sometimes I think we take AD for granted and don't use him as effective as we could. Think about it. He was 12 for 16, 0 of 2 from 3. So that means he was killing. Nobody could stop him. Why not utilize that more so we don't get into a situation like this where we got to fight our butts off to get this win? Because sometimes down the stretch, when you got a hoss, I said hoss, yes, that's like a horse, a hoss like AD, you go to him in the block and get easy buckets. That way you keep your lead. So to me, sometimes I think he goes underappreciated and not knowing the value of him offensively. We love him a lot on defense, but this guy can flat out score, and we need to use him more.
Yeah, I mean, he ends up with 26, 12 of 16. Pretty incredible.
If you got a guy like AD who can score at will in the box, but is a willing passer, that makes it that much better because he can find the open guy. He can drop dimes to people because he sees the floor, especially on a team that's short like this. He can see over the top and make the easy passes.
You know what else, too? Everyone was doubling him. And, I mean, some teams are doubling him so quick the second he touches the ball. So it's opening it up for everybody else. But when he is not as involved and they're kind of doing the wide and he's out, and they're not doing pick and rolls or anything, then then it's more of an ISO style.
You got to recognize that. You have to recognize that, maybe he won't get the score, but if he catches it anywhere below the elbow, he's going to get some attention. So, yes, he can score when he gets it, but in a current situation, you want him to touch it. That's when he's really, dangerous because he can pick people off. He becomes a quarterback all of a sudden. So you got to let him touch it, even if he's not going to take the shot.
I totally agree. For me, when you have the talent like AD, and to me, you look at Embiid and you look at Jokic, tell me two of the top centers in the league. Tell me AD is not as good as they are. I think he's better because he's more efficient on the defensive end, that which makes him a little bit better. So why not put him in a situation where he is the focal point of the team, where he's going to make it easy for everybody around him? Because, like I said, he's an awesome passer and a willing passer.
All right, guys, let's hear from Darvin Ham. He's speaking with Mike in the media.
Went out and ultimately did pull it out. So 6 games, 12 days, go 4-2 on this trip. We're thankful.
Well, to that point you just made, after the back-to-back losses, leaving Atlanta, going into tough buildings in Boston, New York, I expect you would take 4-2, on this trip. And what do you feel like you built, if anything, as you head home now?
Just that trust in ourselves, that if adversity presents itself, we can fight through it. We won't pack up our tent and go home. Like we're in it for the fight. I think it brought what we were able to do coming out of those back-to-back losses in Houston, Atlanta, and what we were able to do with our 2 captains out in Boston was nothing short of amazing. And I just think everyone looking at that and the way we watched the film and the way we came together to, do the same thing in New York, and then, ultimately did become successful there in that game as well. We want to finish the trip off right, but just our mental focus, our passion, guys just competing at the highest level and doing it for one another.
Darvin, I know we've talked about trying to, see the big picture, and not live and die with the highs and the lows of stuff. You guys are about to have to make big picture decisions. The trade deadline on Thursday. What did this road trip tell you, and anything about what you have currently?